Hello! Today I'm going to be trying my first of hopefully many analysis of the games in this Spring 1v1 Cup, and we'll first take a look at the sets between me and Eclipse. So yeah, I'm going to kind of give you kind of an in-depth look at my thoughts during the game, what I was thinking, why I did what I did, why I think it was a good move, maybe why it wasn't a good move. And yeah, we'll take kind of a deeper look on the intricacies of Much More 2's game. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy. Alright, let's get into the first game between me and Eclipse. So like all the first maps of this tournament, it's going to be on D46, where really on D46 you have two ideas here. You can either go greedy and kind of take your natural side over here, or you can try to play aggressive and try to push out here, in which then you have the option to either, if they be greedy, you can attack them when they're trying to be greedy when they have less troops, or once you have here, you can kind of just create a wall here, take your kind of your naturals at the end, and then if they want to attack into you, they're probably going to lose morale when they try to do this. And I was practicing against Eclipse on this map, so I thought what he was going to do is kind of go for a more greedy kind of, I want to get these buildings as fast as possible and then outproduce my opponent. So knowing this, I kind of wanted to go more push up the sides and do a strat here. So kind of to open up, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do 125% here, 125% here, wait a little bit, I'm going to go 225s here, 225s here, wait a little bit more, and then I'll exit everything out to take this building. That's kind of my strat, and we'll see what kind of happens here. So here we go, 25-25. I accidentally do 3 here, which is a little unfortunate, but I'm still going to end up taking it. Take this. Just have to wait a little bit longer before I take this now. And yeah, that's kind of my opener, and Eclipse, kind of like what I was talking about. He kind of did a very similar opener, but what he's doing now is he's going more for his 15s. So knowing this, I kind of see right here, I can see him trickling out one by one. So I know he has 0 troops here. So taking this building is probably going to be a safe bet. So I start gearing up, sending troops here to be able to take it. And sure enough, right here I'll take it. A little bit of a mistake on my part is since I was very focused on going up the sides and trying to beat him up the sides. Right here, he might have been able to contest because if we kind of go back just a second here, I end up sending a couple troops this way to be able to take this. So here I'll go here, and up here I barely will be able to take this, and he might have been able to contest this, maybe take it from me, but then again, he had very low troops here, so maybe not, but just a slight mistake that I probably wanted to be more wary of. But yeah, I end up getting this, I take this, he doesn't contest, and now Eclipse tries to, this is what I was kind of talking about, yeah, he can try to contest this, but I'm already here, so in order for him to get this, he's going to have to push into me, and that's going to give me morale, because I have 20 troops here, and even though it's level 1, he'd probably take it, it's still going to give me a lot of morale. And I don't overcommit on it here, I'm also sending to here, which is a big thing. If I sent to here, I kind of feed that morale. I just barely got 2 stars of morale. I probably would have fed that morale back, so then it would be an even game. But since I just kind of accept that I've lost it and just sent here, now I got a small morale advantage, and now I can do my next move. And kind of moving on with my kind of strat here, I was able to move up these sides and kind of just get a foothold, which he ended up beating me out. But now I'm going to have a morale advantage, and I have my second up. And my idea here is, what I'm about to do here, is I send a bunch of troops here, and I put a cloud here. And by putting a cloud here, he's going to have to figure out where I'm attacking. He cannot see where I'm going to send units out, so he has no idea where I'm going to send units out of here, and I can have a direct line to the forge. So, my strategy here is kind of, by putting this down, I'm threatening attacking this forge right here. Where now he has to make the decision of, do I want to defend this, or do I want to defend one of these buildings here? Because like I said, he has no idea where I'm going to attack. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to send an attack to this building here. The reason why is because if he doesn't defend the forge, and just the threat of me taking the forge, if I get that forge, it might be game over, because it's very hard to take that back when you have 0 forges. And now I have the attack power. And I can kind of start pushing you back or take my naturals as you try to waste morale in order to get this forge back here. And kind of the idea here is, what I do is I'm going to attack, which, who expects you to attack this building? And what I'll do here then is, right before, once this starts leaving the cloud, I'm going to attack here. And by attacking here, he's going to want to support it, and the way he's going to support it is by sending the nearest building, this building, into there. And by him trying to support this, it's going to leave this building empty, so then this attack can go into it. So yeah, that's kind of my strategy, and here we can see doing. And to counter it, Eclipse decides to put down his second and go for my forge. Kind of like what he could have predicted from me. And honestly, like I said, I was practicing on Eclipse a lot on this map before kind of going into the tournament. And what I normally did when I practiced it, I said one of these two buildings. So that's why instead of protecting the forge, he just leaves it, kind of predicting that I won't go for it, and starts defending this building. Which is really good. That's a good, to kind of understand your opponent and what they're going to do. But yes, I see him going here, so I immediately start trying to defend, because I know if he gets this forge, my attack's going to be much worse than it would be, because then I'd lose this attack, and he would have extra defense as having 2 forges. So here we go. I get defense, and then, like I said, right here, I'm going to send here, and notice how immediately he empties this out. So this attack's probably going to go in. And what ends up happening is, he does end up taking this, but because I made it so hard, and because that earlier morale disadvantage, because if we kind of go back here, because of this failed attack over here, I now have 2 stars morale, he has 1. So when this all plays out, like it does right here, I'm going to have a 1-star morale advantage on him. So right here, I'm able to defend this. I'm able to take this. He has 0 troops here because he's trying to defend it. And now I take this, and I get even more morale. So now at the end of this attack, I have a 3-star morale advantage. He has 0. I got way more position on him. And at this point, it's pretty much game over. And we'll just kind of see how this plays out. He tries to go for an attack, but really he shouldn't because he has that. The only reason you should go an attack when you're down on morale is to build up your abilities. So right here, what he could be doing is trying to either make a 3rd ability play, because this has 100 troops, and I have very low troop count. I would still have 3 stars morale, so it's still probably defended, but it's just to buy time so he can kind of upgrade and consolidate himself. Or what he could do is try to build up to his 4th and try to get a big 4th to like also build up. These are like 2 of Eclipse's options to get back in this game. So yeah, he tries to do that. It's a failed attack, of course. He ends up taking this though, which is good. And now I'm pushing this to kind of threaten him. He's kind of pulling back. I end up taking this. And then here's what we were talking about. He got the 3rd up, so it's a very low troop game. So it's a good idea to just send this up in order to kind of get yourself back in the game. Get some footing, distract me for some time so you can kind of upgrade, get your side, get your morale up a bit. But just because I have so much morale, I'm going to be able to defend this. And that's just the power of morale right there. 75 troops, I had 12 in here, and I end up defending it. So yeah, now it's just kind of, I see him do this, I kind of go into his main, he loses his main. Yeah, he gets the tower, but what good is it going to do? He tries to attack this, but at this point, it's very over. And we can kind of see, here we are, just kind of finishing the game up. And I think he GG's out here. Yep, there he goes. And yeah, that's kind of game 1. Alright, getting into the second game on D39 King of the Hill mode. So now normally on D39, what you can do is your opener could either be safe, where you go for the back stuff and work on production, or you can be more aggressive, where you go for this and you kind of push in. Except for on King of the Hill, it's really hard to do that, because if I wanted to be aggressive towards the forge, these are my line of attacks. And he is so much closer, so it's very easy for him to defend these attacks. Same with if I want to try to go here. Every single line of attack to attack one of his buildings is so far due to these King of the Hills being here, kind of just acting as a buffer. So knowing that, I know it's going to be kind of a longer game, and we both kind of recognize that, and we go for a much safer opener, which is just kind of taking our side, where here I'm going to get the forge first so I have some extra attack, and then I'll take these buildings. And he does the exact same thing. And the only aggressive thing you really can do off the back is kind of just go for an all-in towards the tower, but like, that's kind of a 50-50. So I wouldn't recommend doing that, but that's the only possible aggression. So yeah, and then this is just a game of upgrading. And kind of my idea here is by the time we have all developed, we're going to get our second right here, our freeze morale. And first person to actually go in here and kind of uses their 50 troops to take this King of the Hill, what's going to end up happening is they're going to get chickens first. So my idea here is I build up some troops, go in there, and I'll get chickens and kind of... And if he attacks, I can get some morale or make him lose troops or something like that. And what Eclipse kind of does is, this is kind of what I think is more of the right play, is I kind of just save up troops. What he's doing is he's also saving up troops, but he's also getting some upgrades in the middle of this. So right here, he's upgrading that to a 4th. And we'll see him, I think he upgrades this one to a 4th here. And that gap right there is his 4th, and, or upgrading to a 4th. And then here is when I decide I have enough troops to go for this attack. So, and honestly, if I really saw, because in the game I didn't see him upgrade these, if I saw him upgrade this, what I wouldn't have made the mistake I'm about to do here, which I go in here, and I end up taking this. Except for look how much I take this by. And that's because what I did here is I didn't upgrade at all. That's an extra 40 troops I have just by not upgrading. That's going to help me get into here. And also, because he upgraded and I attacked first, he's attacking just a little bit late. And also, because he upgraded, he got this extra star of morale here, which is very good for when he actually attacks here. So what I end up doing here is I kind of go with my strat. By attacking here, I would get my third, so if he tries to contest, I can get my third and maybe get morale. Except for right here, kind of looking back at the attack, I don't think I really needed to use chickens here. So we can kind of see right here, he does that, I go in here, and yeah. And this is a lot of troops, but honestly, he had morale frozen. It would have not been too bad if I just didn't chickens here. So I end up chickens, and there's my chickens gone now. So now, if he goes for another attack, it's going to be kind of hard for me to defend. And knowing that morale's frozen, kind of my next move after taking this was like, okay, his morale's frozen. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to use the frozen morale to my advantage and try to attack a building. So if I attack it, I'm not going to lose morale. So I end up just trying to poke into this forge, see if he has any troops in it. Of course, it's Eclipse. He's going to have troops in it. I end up going for this attack, which maybe right here, this could have been an overextension. I'm probably not going to get this. It's just kind of to force him to freak out. And honestly, what would have been better is these are just kind of lost troops. And this is like 20 troops that I could have used to maybe develop, upgrade some things, push into this eventually. So this was kind of a mistake here, going for this attack. It's very easy to defend. This is a net loss of troops. And that kind of opens up his attack from here and here to maybe take this thing. And I've been kind of sending troops up, so I'm able to kind of defend. He takes it for a second, but I end up getting it back. And at the tail end of this kind of ends off, and I end up getting quite a bit of morale because of that, and he loses quite a bit of his morale. Not enough to be a star, but it kind of matters a little bit. But yeah, so now, right here, I'm kind of thinking, this is a fine position to be in. I have the King of the Hill, it's counting down. That's good for me. What is he going to do? Kind of, I'm just chilling. Maybe if he does something, I can go for an attack because I have my freeze morale up, and I see him go for this. And my reaction to that is, oh, I have freeze morale. I might be able to make him use chickens or something, so I want to contest here. So I end up going for this attack here, kind of try to make something happen. And honestly, in hindsight, at the time this seemed like a good idea just to make him use his chickens. I'm going to try to be aggressive just to like make something happen. He's going to be down on troops, maybe this attack works. And honestly, the attack idea is not a bad idea. Maybe the execution could have been better, but maybe I also should have just backed up. I was in a good spot. I could have just backed up, upgrade a little bit, consolidate myself a little bit, just go for this and play like more of a long game. But I was feeling aggressive, so I end up going for this attack here. And yep, I freeze morale. He goes for chickens. That's kind of all fine. It's just a net neutral kind of game. And then because Eclipse is also a good player, he sees that I freeze morale. And what he decides to go for is, I'm going to take advantage of this. So he goes for this attack here, kind of, because he knows if he attacks this, he's not going to lose any morale, and this building's going to have, like, no defense. And if I was better, kind of why Eclipse is so good, and one of the reasons why I'm not as good as him, is because what I should be doing here is I should be sending my troops up. So when he does go for this attack, I have troops here to defend it. But right now, most of my troop count is kind of stuck here and in this building. Well, Eclipse, we can kind of see him. He's constantly sending these, getting empty his back. All his back is going to be in the front here. He's going for this, and now look how little troops he has in the back, and all of it's here. So he's able to go for this attack, ends up taking it, and because morale's frozen, I take it for a little bit, but I don't have the troops because all my troops are back here. If I had more troops here, I might have been able to beat him out on this, but just because I don't have the troops there, he's going to end up taking this King of the Hill. And there I go. And now he is at he's way more advantaged for me. Because kind of think about what just happened. A little bit ago, I have one King of the Hill, I'm counting down, I'm very clearly ahead here. And at the end of this, I end up being behind. Now I'm down 2 King of the Hills, I'm down on troops, I need to do something. The ball's in my court, and I just used my freeze morale. So now, honestly what I could have done here is I could have just chilled out a little bit. I could have I have plenty of time to work with, kind of upgrade a little bit, chill out. But what I was kind of thinking is, I'm on the clock, his chickens are down, I kind of need to make a move now, which is not a bad assessment, I just needed to make a really good attack here. And kind of, you can't really see it right now, but I'm somewhere in between this energy level. At my first and second up, they're just on cooldown. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to start an attack from the back here. And kind of my idea with this attack was I'm going to kind of threaten this a little bit so he can't really so he has to send some troops here, and he can't reinforce because my main kind of attack is going to be going towards this building. So by attacking in the back, it makes him less likely to reinforce here because he also kind of has to defend this. And so that's why I attack here, and then I leave some troops up here in the front just in case he attacks here, so then either if he reinforces from his King of the Hill from here, then I can maybe do an attack here, and if he doesn't, then what I can do is I can just join this with an attack to go here. So I kind of have options with this deck, which it could have been better executed because honestly, he has just so much troops where this is not, even without chickens, it's not too bad to defend. Plus he has a little bit of morale, and I should have waited probably a second later because you'll see what's happening. My second comes off cooldown, but his building towers already attacked some units, which is gonna make me lose my 1-star morale. And he almost gets that 2nd-star morale right before I freeze it, but I freeze it, so I have no morale for this deck. But honestly, that wouldn't have mattered. He just had too many troops. Eclipse is good. He would have been able to defend this even if I had that 1-star morale. And yeah, so he continues on, and this is where, again, troop management. If I'm able to get this, if all these troops are here right now, I defend this maybe. And because Eclipse is so good, right before he does this attack, he's kind of able to make sure all his troops are in this area with defending. Because look how many troops he has. He has 200 troops, and almost all of them are in this area right here. So now he just pushes an attack. I have to use chickens or I just lose my forge, and then the game's pretty unwinnable. And I need to get these troops here so I can be able to defend, but nope, Eclipse is better. He's sending these troops here. There he goes again, sending from the back, and now I probably could have been able to defend this. I had a huge misread on that. End up giving that for free, and again, I have so many troops here that could have been here, and if maybe they were there, I could have defended and maybe turned the game around. But I wasn't, so I end up losing. And yep, that is game 2. Alright, let's get into game 3 at D74. And kind of, I have a pretty good strat for this map. Pretty much what my strat is what I do is I go for here, kind of, and I don't have exact percents. It's just, I normally just 25% to make sure. Majority of goes here, and I'm able to take these two things and upgrade it once. Then I'm going to go attack this building here, and then once I got that building, I'm just going to spam into this, and by the time it's like 40, 30 troops here, I'll get my 4th, and I'm able to 4th and kill it. But Eclipse, being the amazing player he is able, it comes up with a really good opener to kind of counteract this, where what he does is he sends just enough troops to take this, and a little bit to take this too, and then he waits until he takes the forge, or is about to get the forge, to time it so when he takes it, he has enough troops to just go in here, and boom. Amazing opener. And by him taking this, because Rudo Alt doesn't actually affect these King of the Hills, because they're like special towers. And if I were to Rudo Alt, and I would pretty much need to get this building here, in order to like actually make the Rudo Alt work, or else he would just have so much production here, he would eventually just take everything. So what I end up doing is I'm like, oh shoot, well I'm going to keep going with my strategy, see when I get it, I end up taking this here, here's my 3rd, and then I'll pause it as soon as we get my 4th. And here, right here. So let's kind of analyze what is the situation. I just get my 4th now. I'm really looking at here, because this is going to do 45 damage. And if I were to use it, my thought process is, I definitely don't get this, because it doesn't get attacked. He probably has just been saving up units here, so I probably don't get this. So if I ult here, all I'm going to get is this, this, and this. Which wouldn't be too bad, and honestly, maybe I should have. Except for I just have to be aware what's going to happen is when I press this button, it's going to take like 2 seconds before the attack actually comes out, so he's going to get a little bit more troops. But kind of looking at this, I'm like, oh, he's going to have enough troops to kind of defend and take it back. Especially, he's about to get his 4th too. So my thought process is, what I'm going to do instead is, I'm just going to hold on to it. Because he can't expand too fast. Because if he expands too fast, I'm just going to Rudo Alt, and he's going to lose it. So just by having this Rudo Alt, I thought, just the threat of it, I could maybe get out and expand faster. And that actually what ends up happening here. So I just kind of spam in here, I'm going to take it. Eclipse is being super safe because I have this Rudo Alt. He's trying to make sure he has enough buildings to always defend it, and I just kind of take my side because of it. And yeah, now that I got everything, I just push out, and here Eclipse makes a mistake. If you haven't seen my Kree guide, I highly recommend, because if you do this and you switch your building, you end up losing it. So, fun knowledge. So, Unfortunately, he loses that. But yeah, so now I end up expanding faster. And right here, I'm kind of looking at the thing, and I'm like, okay, he just used his 4th here. He doesn't have his 3rd. I got this. I'm kind of thinking maybe I can go for a fast win here, because one of the only kind of win conditions of Rudo is, how do you win as Rudo? You're either going to win because you have enough morale and you kind of beat him mechanics-wise, or the only way to kind of win when you kind of even and you have to use your hero's kind of advantages is you either have to get a sabotage win, or what you have to do is use a speed into the back line where they don't really know where you're going and you're attacking so fast where they just kind of have to make a guess. And if they guess wrong, you probably get a building. So my idea here is I was just going to attack maybe here, maybe here, maybe here, one of these buildings, or maybe even just go for the Dom and kind of speed into it and hopefully take it. And while thinking this, what Eclipse ends up doing is takes it aside. Because he has 0 morale, he ends up getting his 3rd, which I didn't expect for him to get so fast. So here you can see me kind of setting up getting ready to attack. Here I do my attack, and I just noticed this now, so I'm like, oh shoot, I'm going to have to do this. And I thought Eclipse was going for here, but he ended up going past me, which is a very good kind of counterattack. So now I have to send things here. He ends up reversing this, kind of like we said. And now what I should have done here is I tried to attack here, and if I kind of sent a little more, I could have got it. But because what's going to happen here, he's going to first here. I have no idea, and the reason why, I probably could have took this. But the reason why I don't is because I have no idea how many troops he sent here. He could have, he had like, what, 30 on there? But if he had 80, then this would have so many troops, and I would just lose morale. I'm already down on morale. So my idea here is, okay, it's not looking good. I'm definitely behind. I just need to like sit back and get ready. So here I kind of defend here. I might have not needed to first here, but I end up firsting, which is probably fine because I have all my mana right now. So I kind of just chill. I'm consolidating up, getting ready. But the ball's kind of in my court. I have to do something here because I really don't want for him to hit this because I have no real counter to that. I kind of do good enough work to get. Now we're even on morale. We're even on troop count. I'm just down on units. And I know he doesn't have reverse, so my idea here is I'm going to kind of push out and do a second here, because I'm about to get my second. So I end up pushing out, and here's my second. And what ended up happening is I make the mistake of I overcommit here. I should have just said, I think I ended up setting 45 by accident, and I should have just said 50, and I should have immediately started sending this thing into here. Because what Eclipse does is he does a counterattack, I end up losing this building, very nice work for him, and also, it might have not been the best attack to make in the first place, because normally when you speed in the back, it's because they don't have troops in the back. But here, Eclipse gave me no inclination that he had low troop count in the back. Normally, when you want to attack the back, is right after they sent a bunch of reinforcements up, right? But right now, he hasn't done anything with his back units. He's just been keeping them back there, kind of leaving them there and having them sit and generate units. So by attacking the back line, he's going to have plenty of troops to defend whatever I have if I go for the back line, which is what I do. I end up doing this. It's really just a bad attack. What I really should have done is maybe attack this front, because I should have been paying more attention to his troop movement here. But yeah, I end up speeding into all his units that are just sitting here, and he ends up getting his 4th again, and at this point it's pretty GG. I have no morale, he's got 3 morale, he has so much more troops, and yeah, I GG up, and that is game 3. So our next game brings us to D31. Which is going to be this map on Conquest. And my idea here is, because I played Eclipse before, and I know Eclipse is a great player, and I personally don't really know the best way to play kind of a macro map on this, which is kind of, oh, the normal openers, like, go for these buildings, so you kind of play a little bit of both sides. I think my idea here was, I think Eclipse beats me like this. So what I'm just going to do is kind of go for, if I can get the bottom control, I can maybe take all the way, I probably won't be able to get this building, but if I can take this, kind of when I was practicing, I normally would be able to get here and kind of push up into the top from there. So that was kind of my idea with this, but it ends up going really badly, because Eclipse goes for just the regular opener, here, 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 and what I'm end up doing is I'm kind of just going for 100% into the bottom. I'm going to take this forge here, and then I'm going to go for an attack to kind of take here. Which, honestly, this normally should work, just because all these 78 troops are in the bottom. How many troops does he have in the bottom? He has, like, a total of 30-something, maybe 40 once, like, a couple seconds pass. So my idea here now for my attack is I'm going to freeze this to force him to, like, defend here a little bit. And And then what I'm going to do is I should have just done this, but what ended up happening is there's my little troops to go there. I ended up attacking this a little bit because I was like, this is a level 1, but what's going to end up happening is this tower is going to shoot down a lot of those troops, and he's going to freeze my forge, and really I should have just 100%ed it here. Because if I do that, I would have just got this building. And I get it for a second, but it's just not enough. If I was able to get this building, what probably would have happened is he trickles a little bit of units in here. I might get enough for morale here, and then once that freeze forge ends, I can easily push into this level 1. But that doesn't end up happening here. He ends up taking that, and at this point it's just GG. He has the morale, I didn't get any ground here. He's going to have more production, he has all this top, I have not enough on the bottom to do anything. And yeah, he's just going to push in here. And we can see here, he's going to take it just because he has so much, and yeah, I just GG out. And that was the quick game 4. And here we are, let's get right into the last game. This is going to be on D3 domination mode, and I am personally not like the best on this map. So my idea here was I didn't want to use Aner for this map, which honestly I think is the better pick. Just because I was thinking if I win this, I can go Aner on the next map, which is D35, and then I have a chance of beating Eclipse. That's kind of was like, I was thinking my only chance. So if I lose this game, or if I play Aner this game, I might lose the next game. So that's why I picked Kree here, and like I said, I'm not that comfortable with this map, so I ended up going for this kind of lame opener, which is 100% here, here, and basically here, here, and here, while Eclipse does a much better opener of being able, I don't know the exact percents, but he's able to take all of this right off the bat, which is so much better for efficiency's sake. But yeah, so continuing on here. So yeah, this is my kind of opener. I end up taking my side, and I just kind of push up. The only good thing about this opener is I have enough troops up here to kind of take this side of the map, so that's what I end up doing. I mean, he can do kind of the same, but he can just do it less good because he has less troops in this area while I have more troops here. And then Eclipse goes for his first attack, which he kind of does a little bit here to make me kind of defend it, and then go here. And honestly, these were my mistakes kind of come in, where I should have been able to defend this because that was very obvious. I was just slow and didn't click the right things, and I should have probably took this back. But because he attacks this, I'm thinking, or I kind of see, let's see, I see a trickle out here that's about to happen. We'll see it in a sec here. Here's the trickle out that I see, so seeing that, I kind of go for this play here. An invis, but I screw up my invis a little bit. So I end up, he ends up being able to kind of defend this. Right now, Eclipse kind of makes a little blunder here, because how is he supposed to know this is where my other attack is? I end up taking that very briefly, which is nice, so I end up just sitting here. He has a late lock, a little sloppy, but on both of us, but yeah, he's going to end up taking this. And now it's a pretty relatively even game. I just got quite a bit of morale off of that, which is nice. So what I do here is I kind of just poke in this, try to like maybe take the forge while I go for this attack here, because what I thought here is, kind of going back a little bit, is I thought because all these troops moving out, I saw this and I thought, oh, he has very little troops here, which is just not true. He kind of was very smart and trickled out just a little to be able to defend, which kind of baits me into this attack here, which he definitely has enough to defend for now. So here I go in, just thinking, and that's why I don't even wait for invis, because I just thought he had no troops here, and he actually had the troops, so he's able to defend here. Now he has the 3 stars morale, I don't. I'm kind of just trying to get something here. I end up losing even more morale. That's kind of my problem, is I can be way too aggressive sometimes. So now I have to try to defend this. He's going to go in for this, and I didn't see that, but I'm like, I have my 4th. Here's another mistake. I probably could have, I very much used too much troops to kind of, I didn't see this attack here, which, let's kind of rewatch. He's going in here, so I use that. He kind of immediately pushes out. I'm distracted. I don't even defend here. He ends up taking the forge because I screwed up. And then I end up taking it back here in a sec, but at this point, 4 stars morale, just 1. He's in my main, he's attacking, and I probably could have been able to defend this, but he just goes right in the Dom towers, and that's game. So yeah, that is the story of how I got 4-1'd by Eclipse. But honestly, I learned a lot in these games. Just seeing, I see my mistakes, I see the little things that I do wrong, I see what Eclipse is doing right from sending from the back, kind of as a summary from our games. He was very good at that, very good at reading the situation, understanding what he needed to do. And yeah, overall, there's a reason why Eclipse won this tournament, and we'll see it more and more as we go over all these tournaments. But yeah, this is kind of the first video where I'm kind of doing analysis. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Just a quick note, I'm going to be posting the rest of these analysis on my Alpaca channel rather than kind of my personal channel, because I'm trying to move away from my personal YouTube and kind of making a Mushroom Wars YouTube. So yeah, if you want to see the rest of these, I'm going to probably now do an analysis of all the other Spring Cup games. So feel free to go check this out on the other channel. I'll put the link in the description. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. I hope these are more of like open discussions rather than me just giving my opinion, because all these things are kind of what I think is right, but of course, I don't know everything. So feel free to kind of put your input, what you think was right, what you think was wrong. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.